When it comes to church buildings, challenge the people you talk about work with, and serve to imagine they have no building. What would their mission be like? And now you could have a building or a retrofitted building, revised building, upgraded building. What do we need to do? But so that they separate their mission from the building and then they put it back together.
I don't know that my message is a lot different. It's what I said before. It's finally all about the ministries. And as we think about technology and this new generation, it's still all about the ministries, and that's where we need to start. Then work back, reverse engineer it to the buildings, figure out what that means, and it's a tough one right now.
A couple things come to mind. I think the future in facilities could include a lot of partnerships. I think you'll come across more and more churches that'll be talking to you about, we're doing this in partnership with another non-for-profit. How can you help us make that work? We're doing this in partnership with another for-profit. How can you help us figure out the details of that? So I think there'll be a lot more shared use facilities like that. I think there'll be a lot more where there once was a time where Willow Creek talked about being seeker targeted and have a seeker service. I think they'll be talking to you about not using that terminology, but they'll talk to you about how can we create a space that invites the whole community in 24/7, and how do we do that so that they're comfortable here, and so that when all of a sudden their marriage is hurting, they don't know what to do with their kids, or they start having spiritual questions, they've already been in that place and it feels like home, so they just show up on a weekend or for a small group.
I think it's very important that a church go through a discovery process of who they are, what their story is, what their epic story is, and that whatever they do becomes an expression of that. It's too mechanical. The process, we've reached a certain size, we've got to build a building, or we've got to look for space. That's the tail wagging the dog. And building a facility that helps you tell that story.
I think the other couple pieces I would add, one, the buildings need to really preserve the community. The shared values, the things that draw people together, as well as meet the ministry objectives that are out there for the next 5 to 10 years. I think the other thing, though, that I see too often is that the building becomes the solution rather than the vehicle. Part of our company was founded by a group of marriage and family therapists, and they see time and again where a couple is struggling in their marriage, and so what do? They have a kid, they build a house, they move, but they look for that technical solution to try to deal with the deeper issues that need to be dealt with in the family relationship. And I think the same thing happens with churches a lot of times. We've lost our values, we've lost our sense of mission, we've lost our sense of purpose, we're failing at doing what God has called us to do. So what do? Build a building. Like that's going to solve anything. And that happens far too often in the church. So I think if the building can be a tool rather than the end result, then it can be extremely effective.